The PGA Tour gets a deal done, but it's not with the Saudis. Hey everyone, welcome into another edition of On Tour with Jon McCarthy, presented by Callaway. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Toronto Sun national golf writer Jon McCarthy. And while we're all waiting to see if the PGA Tour would get a merger deal done, John, they've instead gone ahead and received an investment deal with American-based Strategic Sports Group. What exactly is this contract that the Tour has signed?
Well, in June, when it became public that the PGA Tour was willing to negotiate with the Saudis, with the Saudi PIF, a lot of other big, deep-pocketed people came out of the woodwork and said, well, if you're looking for an investment, what about us? So Strategic Sports Group is made up of some of the richest guys in North American sports mainly. The leader is Fenway Group. They own the Boston Red Sox. Steve Cohen, who owns the Mets and Liverpool. Arthur Blank, owner of the Falcons. So a lot of very rich sports owners got together and they sort of offered their help in or investment in the PGA Tour. And this deal, it's worth up to $3 billion with $1.5 billion coming in initially. And the big key for the PGA Tour is it gets them towards where they want to go, which is having players having an equity stake in the PGA Tour. So it's going to be under a new company called PGA Tour Enterprises, which is going to be sort of an umbrella company over top of all professional men's golf, excluding LIV at this time. But what it allows them is to pay some of their biggest stars, some of these major millions of dollars to stay on the PGA Tour, giving them an equity stake in this new company to try to stop LIV from being able to poach, the game's biggest stars. And it's an injection of capital that allows them to sort of maybe keep up in this big money fight with the Saudis, because without it, you don't really want to get into a war of money against the Saudi PIF. And that's where the PGA Tour was. And so with this deal, they can sort of look ahead, and it gives them some leverage in their negotiations with the Saudis.
All right. So, as you mentioned, the battle with LIV Golf continues right now, with players going back and forth on each side. What does today's deal do for the potential future between these two sides?
Yeah, so for the time being, nothing really changes. LIV Golf, their season starts on Friday in Mexico. Negotiations are ongoing between the PGA Tour and the Saudi PIF, even with this deal. In fact, as part of the deal, it was written right into the release from the PGA Tour, is that SSG, the new investment group, has consented to also, they're on board with allowing the Saudi PIF to also invest in the PGA Tour. So it really doesn't change the end game, which hopefully it looks like would bring the golf world back together with the deal between the PGA Tour and the Saudi PIF. But what it does do is it gives the tour a little bit of leverage, and they'd lost a lot of leverage in recent months, getting their players poached one after another and sort of getting bled dry in their bank accounts. So it gives them a big boost of capital and some leverage, much needed leverage in their negotiation with the Saudi PIF. Because I think when the negotiations with the SSG group were going on, that's when Jon Rahm got signed by LIV. It was sort of the PIF's way of saying, oh, so you're going to be looking for outside money. We're just here to show you what we can still do. So I think they sort of showed their leverage, and now the PGA Tour with this money gets a little bit of the leverage back. And it looks like both sides really want this to come to an end. Rory McIlroy on Tuesday at Pebble Beach, he said the sooner the better that the best players in the world are playing in the same tournaments again. And he even went as far as to say he thinks there should be no penalties for LIV players coming back to the PGA Tour. I mean, he might be in the minority on that, but that's what Rory said this week. So it looks like this might be the first step in getting a clearer look at what the future of professional men's golf will look like. But we're still a ways from that. And the deal with the Saudi PIF will be the major one that would shape the future of golf. But for now, the PGA Tour has a little more money to play with and a little more leverage in their negotiations.
Yeah, the cash continues to fly around in the world of golf. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments section below. You can find all of John's golf coverage at the Toronto Sun.